and juice keeps us strong.
Let's see those juice boxes, y'all.
In the red room, stories unwind. Gin and juice got that open mind. Hearts connect at 10:30. Every Saturday once again. Laughter's bright and tears are real. Nothing here we gotta conceal. Safe and sound right on this stage. Flip the script, turn the page. Red room talk, it's where we'll be. Sharing dreams and memories. Laugh and cry all night long. Gin and juice keeps us strong. No topics too wild, too taboo. In this space,
If you're on the show, go ahead and hit that plus sign, y'all.
With every word, a bond we form. Warm like the sun after a storm. So take a seat, join the chatter. In this place, nothing else matters. Feel the vibe and let it flow. In the red room, love will grow. Red room talk, it's where we'll be. Sharing dreams and memories. Laugh and cry all night long. Gin and juice keeps us strong.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Red Room Talk, where tonight we are celebrating 3 years featured. That's right. But y'all can find us here every Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm your host, Jen. The Red Room Talk is a show about love, intimacy, and interpersonal relationships, including self, to erase different social stigmas. We are here to have candid discussions and cut through those stigmas to show that in the end, no matter your background, we all have commonalities when it comes to matters of the mind and the heart. Nothing is off the table in the Red Room Talk. Last episode, if you missed us, that's okay. You can find us on YouTube on that link in my profile, and please subscribe. Last episode, we talked about dating disasters, but this week we're going to discuss taking accountability. We have an all-star cast. We have my co-host, CJ DJ Slab God. We have Nobody and a real KJ. Let's find out how the panel feels about taking accountability. But before we get started, all that I ask is keep your mind open and your language clean. First things first, I'm going to let you guys in the box to introduce yourself, and then we'll get started. Hi.
Hey, what's up, y'all? What's up? How you feeling today?
Wonderful, y'all. We are 3 years under our belt featured, y'all. Over 3 years going with the Red Room. So about 3.5 years with the show, and we got 3 years featured. I think we're doing pretty darn good tonight.
Mm-hmm. We in this thing.
But of course, normally I would say ladies can introduce themselves first, but we have all gentlemen here tonight, so I love that for us. So I'm going to go ahead and start with Nobody, then we'll go to KJ, then we'll let my handsome co-host go ahead and introduce himself, and then on to me.
Well, my name is Nobody. If you don't know me, you must be new to the app. Because I shake the app with my energy. I'm more of a podcast streamer. You know, when you come into my live, you don't get a face, but you can definitely feel this energy. You know what I mean? So come and talk to me. I'm a life coach. That is my actual job. What I do. So it's important to talk to people and associate. I do a lot of things from promoting to marketing to affiliate marketing and just all kinds of stuff. Jack of all trades and master of none because I can never focus on one. Shout out to my ADD. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm Nobody, and I'm really huge on accountability. So I'm happy to be here and talk about this topic.
Thank you for coming. KJ, my friend.
What it do? Hey, my name is KJ. This is my first time ever being on a featured show. I'm kind of nervous, kind of not really, but you feel me? But hey, you can catch me on here every now and then playing your favorite R&B, hip hop, rock songs, hits,
Okay.
and that's it. Yeah, come in my
Don't
life
you
and
have
get a
a show
vibe.
that you do too, interviewing people? Let's know about that.
Oh
Don't
yeah,
forget.
yeah.
Don't forget yourself.
Oh yeah. I done forgot about that. I be interviewing people here ever interview on tag a couple days against the with the homie Nobody. Me and him got to do it again on Instagram, so we could definitely have it on there so people can really look at it. My next interview, hopefully one day, I will be interviewing Jen and Juice.
That's right. That's right.
Hello.
So yeah. So by the way, the show is called Let's Get Comfortable. So if I interview Jen and Juice, it's going to be the top badge edition. We're definitely going to be going behind the badge with this one.
Yes, sir.
I like that name. That's pretty comfortable.
All right, CJ.
Most of everybody know who I am. If you don't, my name is CJ, also DJ Slap God. I've been on app for a little minute. Um, Me and Jen, real good friends. So we always here, ready to rock out. For sure.
Y'all, he is the newest co-host. Make sure y'all give him a warm welcome. He, of course, hit everybody here with a favorito, like a burrito, not now, but right now. Okay. But I am Jen and Juice. I am the host of this show right here, right now. You guys can also catch me late nights into early mornings. I do have a couple things up my sleeve that are coming here in the next couple weeks. So make sure y'all stay tuned. Follow me on Instagram, y'all. And, of course, check out my YouTube and subscribe so we can get that going a little more. But everything is up to date on there, so make sure y'all check it out. But let's go ahead and get started, y'all. Accountability is a concept that resonates deeply with many aspects of our lives. It often involves taking responsibility for our actions, decisions, and their consequences, both personally and in relation to others. When we think about accountability, it can evoke a range of feelings and reflections, from a sense of ownership to an acknowledgement of our commitments and responsibilities. For some, accountability may evoke thoughts of personal growth, integrity, and importance of being reliable in both personal and professional relationships. It can foster trust, enhance our interactions, and drive us towards achieving our goals. In a broader sense, accountability can also be seen as a way to maintain balance in our lives, guiding us to make choices that align with our values and aspirations. Considering these aspects, I'd be curious to hear your perspective. What does accountability mean to you personally, and how do you see it playing a role in your life?
We going in a certain order.
Yeah. Whatever.
We'll go ahead and we'll go counterclockwise. Yeah, counterclockwise. So go ahead.
Let's start with Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody, you can start, bro.
Oh, my bad. So for me, accountability is basically like what you said, but to go into for me personally, my personal perspective, it improves trust and mostly respect and reliability for myself, and it also improves my emotional makeup on how I feel about different things and how I invest my energy, my time, as well as my money into something, because if I have to take that accountability, I understand what growth and what strength can come from that relationship, and it also demonstrates my integrity. Not to mention, it's a huge contribution to a culture of mutual respect and high standards.
For sure, for sure. Okay. KJ?
Accountability is to me sometimes it's very hard for me to take accountability because sometimes I don't be knowing. But is anything like apologizing and taking ownership is like we don't know how other people might take it. Like some people in this world is very to the point, like cutthroat. And as soon as you say I'm sorry for hurting you, they don't want to accept that, and that's gonna make you feel like, you know what? I don't want to say it, but it make you feel like a piece of so. So it's definitely yeah, like so honestly though, like sometimes taking accountability is hard, but that's one of the things we need to as a people we need to get better at that.
Sure, for sure.
Um,
CJ?
my turn. Uh, so I don't want to draw this out because I have a very long point of taking accountability.
Sure.
Um, but I'm gonna say in my theory, taking accountability starts with yourself. Um, I believe that it can start at a very young age. You hold yourself accountable when you're in high school, right? If you are that type of student, you hold yourself accountable for making sure you take care of the things you need to take care of, so that way you can graduate and on the year that you're supposed to graduate, and then that carries on into life. Then it carries on, as you mentioned, into business relationships, personal relationships, family relationships. So being able to develop that from the very, very beginning, I believe is very important. And some of us don't have that opportunity. Some of us develop it later in life, in our 20s, our late 20s, our early 30s, our late 30s. There's some people even develop it in their 40s and on up. But at the same time, it's at some point that people learn how to take accountability for maybe faults that they may have, or um, I won't say wrongdoings, but like things that consistently happen that they consistently act on. So being able to take account for that, and showing that, hey, I have this problem and that I'm displaying it to you, I'm relaying it to family member, business, relationship, whatever it may be, you're still, that's that point of taking accountability and being able to express that to whoever it may be. And then in the end, you benefit both ways. Someone knows that you're going to potentially react that certain way versus uh, just assuming. So hopefully that made sense. That's my
Yeah.
theory on accountability.
So accountability to me, it means not only just taking responsibility for my actions, decisions, and their consequences, but it's about being honest with myself and others. That means acknowledging mistakes and learning from them. For me, accountability fosters personal growth and integrity, because something integrity for me is something I hold very high standards for. Not just integrity in myself, but integrity in those around me. But it also like encourages self-reflection and commitment to improvement. If I can't take accountability for my actions and use those as growing measures, then that's not accountability, because accountability is something you use as a tool.
Hmm.
Accountability for not only things that you do, but things that like you want for yourself. That's like, I didn't go to the gym today, but I just gained 5 pounds. You know what I'm saying? It's accountability for personal growth, whatever the growth may be. If you know that you're not brushing up on your Spanish and you're trying to learn Spanish and you just called somebody a chinga something, but that's your fault because you wasn't brushing up on what you're supposed to do. So just taking accountability just means using those actions that I've taken, whether they're either not just even negative things, but things that I want to foster personal growth. Because I'm one of those people, like, I don't look to other people to like now I won't say competition, but like, oh, I want to do better than them. No, I want to look at myself and how I can grow from where I've been, so I can look back and be like, man, look how far I've came. And even things like my show, I can look back at like my first episodes on YouTube and be like, you know what? I'll rewatch them and be like, and I'll learn from that. Like, okay, look, we could have changed this, and that's how I got to where I'm at now, 3 years later and featured. I used everything that I did that didn't work. I've changed things. I've moved things around so it fits what I like and how I feel, represents me as a person. When I first started, my show was very spicy and all these things. And yeah, it was fun. But it wasn't what I wanted. And so I used all those things as building blocks and tools to get to where I'm at now. So, does anybody else have anything else to say about that?
Don't say.
I would just say to add on to that,
Mm-hmm.
for me, it's a real powerful essence of being human. Because, machines don't understand the mistakes that they make because they don't have emotions. Robots don't understand what they do because they don't have emotions. That is not the cortex of them. For us, we're emotional flesh, blood walking vessels, of life.
Sure.
So it makes us human when we know, hey, I messed up. You know what I mean? It makes us human to say we messed up and we're going to go ahead and we're either going to engage with it or we're going to withdraw with it. You know what I mean?
For
So we
sure.
have that decision to be accountable or not. So that's the great thing of being accountable. You have that decision to make. You're not forced into it.
For sure. And it's something that helps me even being a mentor, because holding myself accountable, it also, it helps me set clear goals for not only me, but also helps me help others. If
Yeah.
I can't, if I'm not holding myself accountable, how can I hold others accountable? It plays a crucial role in building trust and maintaining relationships, and things like
Right,
that.
right,
So,
right. For me
uh,
being a life coach, I constantly have to, I bring up scenarios about what I went through to help them kind of understand the mirror reflection of the situation that's going on. Because sometimes people don't understand where it's on the inside because they're either looking in, or they're inside looking out. You know what I mean? It's a neutral variable that you have to explain. It's kind of like all around, like you said. It's not just the positive and the negative. It's on a neutral ground of perspective.
for sure.
If y'all don't mind, can I say something to piggyback off what y'all said?
Sure.
I always usually, well, I got to get back to this frame of thinking, but I always used to think like you got to win today. Like I got that saying from a football documentary on YouTube. Don't judge me. I like the concept and I ran with it. But basically it means like do everything you do, like do what you can, do everything that you have in your mind to do that day, and make sure you execute everything you do it that day. Make sure you win the day.
I like that.
So
Make sure you.
finish everything what you got in your mind to do that day. Like mainly me personally, I haven't been doing that. I got to get back to that.
That's
So
okay. But that's
I
taking
haven't been winning
accountability.
today.
You're even
Yeah,
fostering that right in front of us right now. Is taking accountability that you know that. So now that you know, you take that in and use it. It's
I
like
was
most
gonna
energy.
definitely.
say,
Accountability is like an energy, right? It's like
Yes,
you can plug it in. Like,
absolutely.
okay, like here's this energy. I know this, right? So I know I haven't been taking accountability, but I can plug it in and utilize that. I know this is something that I have to do. So it's like, it's useful energy, kind of like to
I
propel
was
you forward.
I was gonna say one thing
Sure.
to piggyback off of nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody. I like how you use the example that you use the examples that you've been through in order to help others understand what accountability is. Because some of us
Mhm.
we're we're not a audible learner. We're
Mm-hmm.
more of
Right,
a visual
right.
or visualization.
Mhm.
So being able to do that, that's top tier. Because I use the same type of method with
Mm-hmm.
my business side for my job. I'm not more of a audible person. I don't stand there and speak to people for an hour, 35 minutes, 45 minutes.
Right.
I like to engage and incorporate the audience with what I'm talking about, so that way I can keep them engaged and help them to really understand. So being able to do that for someone who may not know what accountability really means, like if a definition was given to them, a visual or visualization in their mind, it's perfect. So
Perfect.
it's really nice. I
Great.
like that you do that.
But if y'all are just pulling up, that's okay. Y'all, we have so much more to come. You can find us here every Saturday right here on the Red Room Talk. You got to say it that way or it does not count. We just discussed what does accountability mean to you personally and how do you see it playing a role in your life. But now I want to dig just a little bit deeper. Accountability is a crucial trait that can significantly influence personal and professional relationships. It encompasses a variety of actions and behaviors that demonstrate an individual's willingness to take responsibility for their actions and commitments. By reflecting on what accountability looks like in practice, we can better understand the qualities that contribute to a dependable and trustworthy individual. With that in mind, what specific actions or behaviors do you believe reflect strong accountability in a person?
So for me, there's two main things that I care about. They're ingredients of life. Is respect, respect and integrity. That's very very big to me because I believe in we don't have to love each other, we don't have to like each other. We could respect everyone, and to a certain extent. So for me, it helps me achieve that kind of that improvement of behavior, towards someone. You know what I mean? Because just because you said that you're sorry, they still might not want to connect with you anymore. They might want to disconnect. And you got to be okay with that. You got to take the accountability and say, okay, that might have not been something that I could come back from the grave. I cannot resurrect this relationship. And that's fine. You know what I mean? There's growth that should happen from that because every experience should be a learning one. And if you don't learn from anything experienced, you're just living life with wasted time. That's how I feel about it. So regardless of what is going on, whether it's positive, whether it's it's friendly, whether it's malicious, whether it has good intent, whether it's maleficent or not, whatever the case may be, that is very important to me to learn from what happened. And then instead of taking that luggage with me to unpack that and being able to explain what has happened to me, because that is a very challenging thing when it comes to accountability. One can take accountability and say, hey, you know what? I did it there. But explaining themselves, getting up in front of the world and telling them why they did it, a lot of people will not stand up there. So that's huge for me, is taking accountability and explaining it to gain respect and integrity.
For sure.
I agree with that strongly.
What it means to me is understanding and continue living you and doing whatever you think is the right thing for you and your and how the way you feel. Never let anyone break you down and make you feel like you're not worthy to be with them. Just as soon as you see the writing on the wall, you just gotta be an adult to just be like, okay, I see this going the wrong way. I gotta leave, but at the same time, you don't want to leave because you feel like God is giving you a test. Like, you gotta learn this. So sometimes you gotta go through hell to get to a better place.
Mm-hmm.
Become a poet. You have a very
He don't even know.
Become a poet.
He don't even know.
He
Doesn't. I don't think
Become
he
a
does.
poet.
You need to
You
take
don't even know.
accountability
But he don't even know
and
it.
become a poet.
Hey,
If you're
you need to put the little snap fingers at the end of your name. Instead of like this.
Chill out.
So, I actually have two, and mine was centered around nobody's. Is actually so. I have respect and respect. When I say that, I mean self respect and then respect for others. So if you look up types of respect on Google, this is exactly what it says. I'm telling you. It says respect can manifest in various forms, including the first one, which is respect for oneself, which is self respect. And then the second one is respect for others. I'm a fervent believer if you can't respect yourself, then accountability is nowhere in your vocabulary or mindset. But if you do have that, then the next step, which is respect for others, should come, I won't say easily, but you should have some knowledge of how to show that. And being able to show those two types of respect, one for oneself and then one for others, at that point, as we are all human, we all are not perfect in any kind of form or fashion. Being able to take accountability won't come easy, but it should be at least at the forefront of our mindset. Because if we don't take accountability for ourselves, then, like nobody said, like Jen said, and also KJ, we're just going down a path that seems pointless. You're just wasting time. But if you do have that respect for yourself, you should so-called have a list, a checklist for yourself, things that you want to accomplish as a person. And then after that, when you start to involve others, then you should have another checklist for being able to show respect for others as well. And then whenever those times of accountability come up, then you're able to display what you should and shouldn't do, or acknowledging if you do something that could harm or hurt the person mentally, emotionally, and being able to acknowledge those. And then that's when, like I said, you're able to take that point of being accountable. So respect and respect for me.
So when I heard you guys all talking, I thought about this quote, and it says, experience is the hardest kind of teacher. It gives you the test first and the lesson afterward. And that kind of just really reminded me and resonated because, like, especially when it comes to someone who is not being accountable or the others, and you have to, like, make that choice, you're holding yourself accountable of your self-worth, right? And so for me, strong accountability in a person can be reflected in several specific actions and behaviors, and I'm just going to list them off. But owning mistakes, that means acknowledging when they've made a mistake or failed to meet expectations. That's on both parties. Rather than shifting blame or making excuses, because I think we all know excuses are like, we all have one of them. Transparency, that means being open about their actions, decisions, and the rationale behind them. That means sharing both successes and failures. If you guys have been around me long enough, I don't just share the good stuff. we share a little bit of everything because for me, it shows that I'm human. We're all human. We make mistakes. I've been there, done that. I've been through a lot of things, good and bad, and I don't just share the good because to me that's false. That's false advertisement. Consistent communication, so keeping the people around you informed, so there's no miscommunications, changes in plans. If I have a change of plans, I'm going to let you know. That's actually, I could tell you, CJ holds himself accountable very much. If he has a change of plan, he lets me know ahead of time. Especially like if this is, we're friends, but this is also a business setting as well. So if he's going to be, can't do something, he lets me know, and that lets me know, okay, so now plans change, and then I can move forward with different actions or whatever. Or say if someone can't make it to the show, whatever it is, but holding yourself accountable, that's something that shows very high integrity in others. But following through, so meeting deadlines, commitments, that's something for me. If I tell you I'm going to do something, you best gosh darn tootin', I'm going to do it. And probably with red lipstick on.
And red shoes.
Yes.
Everything red.
That's right. So set and manage expectations. So clearly defining what they're responsible for and ensuring others. That's especially in a business setting. But seeking feedback, and this is something like if you're having a conversation and I'm holding myself accountable. This is something I believe actually was Drake, and he said when he is listening to someone, I know I was a horrible person to use, but he said that when he is having a conversation and he's trying to hold himself accountable, he mimics back to the person what they just said, so they know that they heard him, or that he's hearing them clearly, or they're hearing him clearly. So like say we're having a conversation and I'm always late, and CJ's saying like, man, Jen, you're always late, you did this and you did that. I'm gonna say back to them, okay, well, I can see you're upset because I do this and that. So that way he knows I have a clear understanding of where the mistake was made, or even if it wasn't a mistake, but whatever it is. But that I mimic back to him what he just said, so he knows that I heard him. Self-reflection.
Yes, that's a natural guidance counseling technique. I do that a lot.
Yes.
Yep.
So I know that you heard me, and that you know that I heard you. And if there's any miscommunication, you can stop it before there's an argument. The conversation doesn't ever have to get to an argument. And the reason why it does, miscommunication is the biggest separation between two people. Miscommunication. It can cause a lot of friendships to end. It can cause arguments. It can cause a whole lot of woes. But self-reflection, so regularly assessing your performance, identifying areas for personal growth and improvement, taking initiative. That means proactively addressing issues rather than waiting for others to prompt action or for problems to escalate. This actually, we'll talk about this later in the show, for me is something that's very hard for me. I hate confrontation. I hate it, and I will, and actually someone just taught me this. I'm trying to remember who it was now. But actually, yes, I do. So they had told me that when you're going through something, instead of bottling it up in like a 2-liter, right? You're bottling these things up. And instead of letting them bottling up on a 2-liter, bottle it up in a 20-ounce. Bottle it up in a can. So when those things do start, so there's not a huge explosion. So instead of just holding on to these things and just piling them up, start saying it right when you start to feel it, instead of allowing those things to bottle up, and then you're going to end up with an argument or a friendship ending, or some division of some sort.
Right.
So for me, being proactive is something that I definitely need to hold myself accountable for, and start saying things when I feel them instead of holding on to them for later. But also encouraging a culture of accountability. So encouraging others to hold themselves accountable, which is what's the best teacher is by you yourself holding yourself accountable. So showing up as an accountable person will show that, well, you could do it too by watching,
Yeah.
Obviously experience we talked about, but setting goals, but admitting knowledge gaps. That means a recognizing when you don't have all the answers, and you don't have to give an answer. If you don't have an answer, I don't have an answer for you. I'm not knowledgeable on that topic. I'm not knowledgeable on that subject, or I can't. If you know that it's something that you're unable to do,
I always say it's okay to do monkey see, monkey do if it fosters growth.
Yep.
It's okay to monkey see.
Yep. But those behaviors not only demonstrate accountability, but also foster trust and respect in personal and professional relationships. Because when you see someone doing good things and you show they are exhibiting good behaviors, it kind of is like, follow the leader.
Right.
But does anybody else have anything else to say? And thank you, Lala.
So when you talked about confrontation, I want to tap into that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna bring a whole different perspective to everyone in here, and it's unbelievable, but it's something that I woke up to a lot later on in life. A lot of times I like to avoid confrontation, as we all do, you know what I mean? But we have to understand there are healthy versions of everything. There are healthy versions of drama. There are healthy versions of confrontation. So for me, instead of avoiding confrontation, I transformed it into something beneficial to not only myself, to other people. And honestly, healthy confrontation can foster honesty, transparency, and it allows for open communication, ultimately strengthening bonds. And it could also be a sign of maturity and respect. And it demonstrates willingness to address issues directly rather than avoiding them. I have this old saying I always say ever since I grew up, because I grew up in the hood and I moved to the suburbs. So I'm half and half. I'm right on the chessboard, black and white. Okay. So don't get it twisted. But I have this saying that says it ain't directed if it ain't respected. So if you're going to respect, you have to direct. You know what I mean? You have to direct that frequency and basically let them know. That doesn't mean yelling and screaming and, breaking things with wanting to be heard, because obviously that's not healthy confrontation. You know what I mean? That's like a wild stray dog, and then I'm just gonna call the pound. No, I'm just joking. But anyway, I just feel like there's very healthy ways that we could take accountability for, that I think a lot of people don't realize, that when they see, okay, I got to take accountability, a lot of them are seeing it in a very inconsiderate and very unsocially developed way, that they're just going to make enemies. You know what I mean? I also understand that sometimes we can't really try to figure anything out. We really can't try to demonstrate accountability for everything, because a lot of people are going to see a different perspective of it. But as long as you feel good at the end, if you said you're sorry and they don't accept it, then that's fine. But as long as you did your part, then that's all that matters. And I'd like to talk about this app, because this is a great topic, because let's be honest, I'm going to be cutthroat with this. There's a lot of narcissistic people on here, a lot of very immature and socially undeveloped people on here that don't take accountability because they believe that accountability speaks for itself. A closed mouth don't get fed. And if you don't speak up about what you're doing to other people, you know what I mean, then no one's going to know what you're doing, and you're just going to keep kind of doing it under wraps, and you're doing it in a very shady way. You know what I mean? So I think this is a great topic for this app, because there's a lot of people that are completely unaccountable here.
Very much so, and that's actually why we're
I think the
doing the show
whole,
tonight.
I really think everybody on TAD need to be in here for this conversation.
Oh, for sure.
I think
We need like
You know, the
1,000
show
plus
should be
views.
featured.
I'll be honest with you. People like that definitely, they should not. They try to be social, but they don't know what social media is.
Right.
They want to live a type of way, but they don't know what that is, because they don't know what accountability is, or what self-respect is.
Right.
And
And on the other side of the table, it's important not to discount those people just because they're ignorant. You know what I mean? A lot of people will shut someone out because they're this, they're that. They don't know this, they don't know that. People that don't know can learn. And if they're not willing to learn, life is going to teach them.
oh, for sure.
Unfortunately.
Teach me, don't belittle me. Teach me,
Yeah,
don't belittle me.
and
That's always been a good saying.
That's
Right.
what I always look at. My grandfather, my father, my aunts, basically my whole family, they were always like that. They'll teach you instead of, oh, you don't know how to do that? That's when people shut you out immediately. They don't want to feel any less than what they already may feel. So they would rather someone teach them than, you know.
For sure.
And that's why I live by, well, I don't live by this saying, but I've heard this saying before: more is caught than taught. So a lot of people catch things from seeing it. They'll be like, whoa, how did he do that? And then once they ask, then they can be taught. So a lot of people catch things. More is caught than taught.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people that have that type of thinking, I always kind of assume, and it's funny I say assume because assume is spelled ASUME, where you make a out of you and an ass out of me. You know what I mean? But when you do that, a lot of times people show patterns of what they do in a consistent, method. So it's okay sometimes to assume something, but you still have to ask. You know what I mean? You still should ask questions, but keep that assumption kind of in back of your mind in case if it's validated with a confirmation of what that person represents. You know what I mean? Because that's very, very important. So all the time when I meet people and they are on that type of, timeline with their, self-respect and their, integrity and their, their morality and whatnot, whatever they're willing to sacrifice as a character, as a person, I always assume they must have a lot of broken relationships. And you know what? Half the time, I'm correct.
Yeah, I
And
agree with that.
before we move,
Y'all talk. Oh my bad.
before we move on, because we do have to move on in here just a second. But this is something it's something that should be taught. Well, it is mostly taught when you're younger. But that sorry word, that's not all there is to accountability. There's so many different aspects about accountability, but it's like one of those words that get overused. Like, this is the thing about it, what accountability is. If I, at the simplest form for you guys to have this visual. Accountability at the simplest form is not just saying I'm sorry, but taking the actions to show why you're sorry. So not only saying I'm sorry, but repeating why you are sorry, and then taking the actions of showing that you're sorry. That is the simplest form I can put it to you, is what accountability is. But y'all, of course, we got to move on. I almost hit the D's nuts button. My bad.
Wait.
Thank God I did not. But
wait, before we move on, that confrontation thing had brought me back to a story.
hold it,
brought
we
me.
might be asking her questions, so hold on. Hold that thought.
Okay.
Hold that thought. We might be asking that question, so hold on.
We'll be right back.
That's why. When you hear that sound, that means we are at our hot seat question segment. Please, y'all, if you are in the house, hold your horses and stay right there. Our hot seat question is left up to the fate of the audience. That's right. I went to Instagram to ask our peers what they wanted to ask for this week's hot seat question. If you want your question to be featured on next week's episode, we'll shout your name out and all that. But make sure that you guys go to the profile, click that icon, and follow me on Instagram, and look out for that hot seat question post. But now is the time to enter in the comments who on the panel you want to answer tonight's question before I reveal it. Go ahead and enter now. That means everyone on the panel. So if you want to hear who you want to hear from, go ahead and enter in the comments now.
So we put a name?
Yes. Well, we got a whole lot of nobody. That was kind of that was huge, real quick, y'all. So nobody.
Go ahead, answer that question, bro.
Nobody is answering this question at all.
Not you put me, dog.
They're talking about you, nobody. Okay, well, nobody. I'm gonna say that you kind of took the cake with that one. So this week, I actually wrote in because y'all just want to ask me if I'm single. So I actually entered this question in because y'all suck. So this week's question is, if you could identify one area in your life where you consistently avoid accountability, what is it, and how has that choice shaped your life and relationships up to this point?
Woo! Glad I didn't get that.
Oh, Bruno.
Me too, boy. Let me tell you.
Where I avoid accountability?
Yes, where you consistently avoid accountability, or maybe where you have, if you don't currently, but maybe if you have avoided accountability, what is it, and how has that choice shaped your life and relationships up to this point? And also,
hey, Tia, me and you got the same one.
Prince.
Spending. Lord Jesus.
You know, I don't really get stuck like this. This is kind of like quicksand for me. Because,
Look at that music again.
I pretty much take accountability on, literally everything. There's nothing that I really take. I always say that, I'm single because I'm selfish. I don't want to share certain things. I don't want to take care of children. I don't, there's just there's a whole bunch of things I could say that I'm accountable with. And yeah, I you know what? I'm not perfect. I'm far from it. And believe me, I could show you some videos, but no, I'm not, I'm very accountable because, and it's not that it does not, it doesn't collapse relationships for me. It just, I kind of keep a kind of a bridge, between that and people, on a level, you know what I mean, of foundation and understanding. Yeah, hands up, don't shoot. I don't know. I don't have anything. I can't think of anything.
So
I'm very accountable. I'm very transparent. I'm super transparent. Even though, ironically, I don't stream in the camera at all, but I'm extremely transparent with who I am as a person. And if people don't like it, you know what I mean? It's basically like, hey, there's 8 billion people in the world. Good luck to you.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
All I gotta say is thank God I did not get that question. Thank God y'all didn't say my name because I
Oh,
was
but we
like,
got
"Woo."
more questions to come, so hold your horses. We got more, and trust me, I am not one of those people that take this show lightly. Okay, we definitely
I
get deep
just
here
wanna
on
say-
this show. Okay, go ahead, CJ.
No, I was just gonna say it was my spending.
Oh, spinning. Oh, so I'm glad I didn't get that one either.
Just
Okay.
real quick, as soon as someone tells me you're single because of this, I'll be like, you're right.
You're right. You're right.
Right? He's like, right.
Listen, I resonated with everything you said, especially when the children thing. Listen, yeah, we'll just leave that one there. But yeah,
That's a bonus.
I was gonna say something like it's a feature show. If y'all are
Matthew
just
said he's
pulling
gonna
up,
leave it.
y'all, that's okay. You guys have not missed much. We still have a lot more to discuss, but you guys can find us here every Saturday. Gotta say it that way, or it does not count. Every Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you can't do that, do your tongue ups. We just discussed what does accountability mean to you personally. How do you see it playing a role in your life? What specific actions or behaviors do you believe reflect strong accountability? And then we just had the hot seat question. If you missed it, you're bad. You're gonna catch it on YouTube. But criticism is a common experience that most of us encounter, both personal and professional settings. It can range from constructive feedback aimed at improvement to more negative, unexpected comments that may catch us off guard. Reflecting on how we respond to criticism can reveal a lot about our self-awareness and resilience. I see those heads tipping. Did we take a moment to consider the validity of the feedback? Did we acknowledge our role in the situation regardless of whether the criticism was fair or not? These reflections can provide valuable insights into our growth and ability to adapt. So with that being said, the next question is, reflecting on a recent situation where you faced criticism, how did you respond and did you acknowledge your role in it?
That's me, right?
Go ahead.
Yes, sir. You first.
Okay.
You had just 10
I
minutes.
love criticism. I love criticism because I feel like it could foster growth, even regardless if it's positive or it's negative. I'm going to take something out of that and I'm going to apply to it. A situation where I took criticism. Yeah, well, let's be on the app. So I was supposed to be on a show, and the person told me, they're like, okay, this show's this day. And I told them, okay, I can't make no promises. And they said, why? And I said, because sometimes my social battery is 0 and I just won't show up. I'm taking accountability and I'm being very transparent with you. I will flake on you. I could be a big flake. But if I don't tell you that, then that means I'm going to show up because I speak with my action, not just my words. So I ended up not showing up, and they ended up like hitting me on Instagram, and they were like yelling and cussing at me and everything like that. And it was like, I get what you're feeling, but I told you I was not making no promises. So
I just told you. They obviously didn't listen.
right.
What?
So yeah, that's how I take. I don't take criticism like when I was younger. Of course, I would take criticism different, but as I went from a guidance counselor to a life coach, I have to look at things in a very learning perspective of everything, in a very understanding way, a very communicative platform where everyone, I gotta assume everyone misunderstands me and I misunderstand them until we actually start talking and then we get acquainted and we get to know each other. Because for me, it'd be a really boring world if we all thought the same. So I love when people disagree with me, and I love when they give me criticism.
For sure.
Well, mine was a couple of like I say like a couple years ago when I had my YouTube channel. It was a marching band reaction channel. Uh, Keep in mind, like I had all good feedback leading up to this point, and it kind of just messed me up my whole vibe on doing it. It's like it just made it not even fun no more. Like like the first video that I did was doing numbers. Everything I was doing number like I remember like I had like 50 likes with no dislikes on the videos. Like everything was going good. The algorithm was going crazy until one day. Dun dun dun. That bad comment. It was so negative to the point like basically they were saying like don't talk in the middle of this video. It's like I have to. If I don't talk during the video, I'ma get copyright claim, and it's gonna take my channel. Like I don't want that channel to go down. Like still to this day, like that's my old channel, and I still watch everything on YouTube on that channel. But I'm just grateful that channel can still be up without me doing anything on there. But yeah, like that was a little recently. Like people were saying some negative stuff, like especially doing reaction channels. Soon as you say one thing about anything that you reacting to, one thing that people do not agree with you with, they want to be nasty and negative, and it's gonna mess up your whole way of doing any video in the future. So I had to step back from there. Like, well, I really do love doing reaction videos, so let me step back and do my own thing. So that's why I made that other channel.
So actually, I've always accepted criticism pretty well. Um, Starting young from my own father. Not saying like he's abusive or anything, but he was very straightforward. So getting constructive criticism from him kind of prepared me for life. So moving forward, when I went to college, started playing basketball, all that good stuff. There was a lot of criticism and that from coaches, people that just in your ear. And then now that I've moved forward in life, in my 30s, I have that now with work, and so I give it and I get it, and I appreciate both avenues, both lanes. There's a giving and a receiving. So being able to, it's kind of going back to what we talked about a little bit before this, not with the hot seat question, but before that, being able to exchange a level of criticism between each other and being able to express oneself in between from whether it's giving or receiving, it makes it easier to be able to accept it. When you attack someone for doing something wrong, then, like we mentioned before, they shut you out. So being open to criticism and accepting it in the type of way of, like how nobody said, of building or growth, it really shows to be beneficial. So, you know, that's just how I view it. I'm very responsive and accepting of criticism. I'm going to mute
I asked
myself.
this question not thinking about that I was gonna have to also answer it.
You try.
So a recent situation actually happened right here on live. It's something that bothered me for actually a few days. And so I'm going to use this word very loosely, but a friend had came into my live and got in the box, and they're like, hey, I want to talk to you about something serious, but I want to talk to you off the app. Well, you could have just messaged me off the app in the first place. But there, and so then I was like, okay, that's cool. Just hit me up. And then right here on the Tagged app, right in my live, they decided to go ahead and give me a, what's the word? Intervention.
A verbal whooping?
Oh, an intervention. About how much I stream, and that they said it was affecting they felt as if it was affecting my health, and that I needed to take 20 minutes each day on the morning and at night and go outside and breathe. And it had this whole slew of things that they were supposed to say privately, but they decided to say publicly. And in that moment, how did I respond? I did this. I was like a deer in the headlights. And I didn't really know how to respond. But I could feel, this is kind of like where my friend had talked about.
That was like them old Siamese clocks that look both ways. But go.
Yeah. And so in that moment, I didn't respond. And I was just like, okay, yes. And I just kept saying, yes, okay. And my friend was messaging me in the background because she's a very boisterous, lovely person. I love her to death. But she's like, quit saying yes. Quit shaking your head yes. Like, that is so rude. Like, they're doing this live, and I'm just like, so now I'm like, oh my God, now I'm shutting down, going to the shutdown mode. And I was like, okay, just to get them out of my box. And so after that, I could feel the anger, like, welling up inside of me, because I'm like, first of all, mind your mother business. Okay, if what I'm doing is not hurting me physically, even if you feel as if it was, but if you felt that, you very much could have hit me up on the flip side in the background off here. If you don't have my phone number to tell me these things, then you don't know me enough to cast your judgment on what I do in the first place. But then I took a step back. And I realized I stream 7 days a week. I am exhausted. And so, even though how they came at me was not, that maybe wasn't their intent to come at me like that, but we're going to talk about intent versus impact, right? Intent refers to the purpose of or goal behind an action or a statement, while impact describes the actual effect or consequences of that actions or statement on others, regardless of the original intent. So I didn't intend to break the egg, but I dropped the egg. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing with accountability. My hands were slippery. My this and that. Intent versus impact. So they might have had good intentions behind it, but the impact of it left me feeling very not good for a couple days. And I ended up saying, you know what? I ended up doing my show. It was about grief, and it's something that kind of like really took a lot out of me, because grief is a very hard thing to talk about. It's something that kept me from this show for a couple months. And so what I took from it, instead of, because like I said, the anger welled up in me, and it really wasn't just anger. It was kind of the grief coming up for me. I am tired. I do get on here a lot. I do work really hard at this. I do take a lot of my time and energy and give you guys a lot of this. I was like, you know what? I'm going to take it back for a couple days. And I took a couple days off. Because it didn't just come from one person. When I had expressed about, to friends about the situation, some of them actually kind of co-signed it. And so I was like, can everybody...
I would have 7 days.
If everybody is feeling the same way, there must be a little bit of validity in it. And
right.
So I owned it, and I took a couple days off and recalibrated, and, I said now I'm taking a couple days off a week.
Good job.
So that's something that I'm protecting my peace, not only from people like that, but now also my accountability is coming in that will never... Oh, we got 2 minutes before I can cuss. That will never happen again on live. So now we're not bottling it up in a 2-liter. We're not bottling up in a 20-ounce. We're bottling up in one of those little shot glasses, okay? Because now, see, this is where the monster gets created, and it's not really a monster, but this is where you've now held me accountable in my own self-love. to now, I will not allow that. You will not have a voice on my life unless you have to live it and you've lived it in my shoes. For you to be able to tell me what it is that I do or whatever I don't do, whatever, unless it's something that directly affects you, it is none of your business. And that's something I actually end up saying in my show, like the next day when I was talking about grief. However it is I choose to grieve is none of your business. Grief is not something that you can tell me or you can tell me or anyone can tell me how to grieve or how I choose to grieve is none of your business. And so things like that, I now had to hold myself accountable and say, okay, we're not going to allow this, but we're going to take heed from it. We're going to learn something from it. And so now I'm taking back a little bit of my energy, and now you guys get to see less of me. So thank them. But yeah. So thank
you. Better than me. I would.
But I'm one of those people. I'm not, like I said, that's one of the things I hold myself. I'm not good with confrontation. I'm not good with. So I could have cussed them out and called them all kind of jabappies, and could have slapped them upside the head with some truth about their own life. But I decided to take I guess it's kind of a cowardly way out, and I just stayed silent because I'm one of those. I'm a shutdowner. I'm a shutdowner, but we're not going to be that. So that's why I'm holding myself accountable.
You better than me. I would have mute they butt.
I think that was a perfect scenario of accountability.
Yep.
I think it was, and self-preservation, because you realize that it did make sense of what they were saying. Like I said, regardless if it's negative, you could take back and you could say, hey, you know what? Let me see if it really does make sense of how they're coming at me. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Just give a little experiment of self-accountability and take people's criticism and make it as constructive, whether it's not or whether it's not. We have the power to transform a perspective.
Yeah. Because even though the way they delivered it wasn't correctly, I took and transformed it into something that was a positive for me.
Right.
So even though what they did was a negative thing, I felt as if that I could take from it and turn it into a positive for my own self. Go ahead, CJ.
I was going to say that's the two respects.
Yeah.
You got self-respect and you got the self-respect for others.
Yeah.
Or the respect for others.
Because I surely could have cussed them out right then and there.
You could have.
Inside, I was calling them all kinds of names.
And you should have. Yeah. You should have.
You could have.
But I could have.
Be glad I wasn't in here because you know me.
I already know. Because trust me, my home.
I don't hold my tongue.
Better than
like, who is this? Who is he?
I'm going to tell y'all this. I don't hold my tongue for nobody. Not even my own dad.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You shouldn't, because I always tell people with my clients,
I would have mute they.
I always tell them when they talk about I want to get angry, I want to cuss, I want to scream and stuff that. I say go ahead, because you're releasing it. A volcano, if you look at volcanoes, you know about volcanoes. Volcanoes erupt and then they grow. They help the crops and then they grow. They self-preserve, because once they explode, they have nothing else to but breathe life again into the situation. So it's just like a person. Person's volcanic, they erupt, and then after that, they start back over. Life starts back over. So yeah, I always tell them, go ahead and let it out. I'm not necessarily directed to someone. You know what I mean? If you can in a private setting, then that's okay. You don't want to do it publicly or get other people involved and everything like that, because clearly it's none of their business. It is not the situation. But for me, I would do something like drive up to the mountains and I would just scream, and it would feel so freaking good, instead of coming back down and burning someone's house down or something like that. You know what I mean? We get very sociopathic and psychopathic if we don't let those kind of inner feelings out.
Yeah, because I told myself, if it's hitting me in a place that's very sensitive, then there must be a little bit of validity in there that I kind of knew. But it's almost like someone who's fat calling them fat. That's the only thing I can really think of. I know, okay? I'm eating the food every day, okay? You telling me it's not going to change it directly, but let me take accountability and go to the gym or something.
Wait, hold up. I got to say this. If a fat person call me fat, I'm saying you really don't have no room to be talking about me being fat.
But no, I was just, you know what I
physically
mean?
and emotionally.
No,
Like
I
you
said
don't
it's like,
have any room.
no, I was saying it's like it's like telling someone who is a larger person that they're fat. Like we know these things, okay? But I can't directly change it. If someone can't change it in 5 minutes, don't mention it. You know, just shut up. It's
Exactly.
okay to
Like
shut up sometimes, and that's something I had to tell people. Like it was like the next day. It's okay to shut up. You don't always have to give your opinion. If you have an opinion and you really want to say it, but you shouldn't say it, write it on a piece of paper and burn that shit and throw it out. Okay? Because I don't. Sometimes it don't need to be said. But
That's
y'all,
true.
if y'all are just pulling up, that's okay, you guys. You can find us here every Saturday. We just discuss what does accountability mean to you personally. The feature box is off, so say what you will. We just discuss what accountability means to you personally and how do you see it playing a role in your life. What specific actions or behaviors do you believe reflect strong accountability in a person? Reflect on a recent situation where you face criticism. And now let's talk about the other side of things. Reflecting on instances where someone has failed to take accountability can be quite revealing. It's interesting how such situations can shape your views of a person. For example, when someone shifts blame or avoids acknowledging their mistakes, it can lead to feelings of disappointment and frustration. This behavior often creates a sense of distrust as it raises questions about their integrity and reliability. Witnessing this can also affect team dynamics, making collaboration more challenging and can even impact one's own approach to accountability in future interactions. It's a reminder of how crucial accountability is in fostering healthy relationships, whether personal or professional. So the question is, think of a time when someone else failed to take accountability. How did that affect you and your perception of them? What was the outcome?
Oh, okay. I'm gonna go ahead and just talk about my mama because she got a problem with accountability. So there was a time where she actually she was trying, she was doing something and she felt like she was, doing something with good intentions to help me out. But she ended up taking money from me. She took money from my wallet and without telling me. And it was to help me out. It was to put gas in the car to take me somewhere. So she figured I don't need to take accountability for it because it's for you. But I told her, I said, regardless if it's for me, you still did something without my permission. And when I called her a thief, she blew up like a volcano. Because technically you are a thief if you take something without someone's consent. I don't care what you say. You're a thief. So that just made me feel like when she did that and she didn't want to take accountability just because she thought she was going to help me out, regardless if how supportive you think you're being, it is important to have consent as a responsible person and it also holds your credibility. It holds your credibility at the edge of a building. Because if you can't be credible for what you do, then people are not going to trust you, and more importantly, they're not going to believe in you as a person. So it was just a very short kind of scenario. But yeah, I felt like you need to take accountability because what you did, and later on she came back. She says, "You know what? You're right. I shouldn't have took it without your consent. I'll be accountable for that." And she says, "But I was really doing it to help you." And I said, you can't rob a bank to feed homeless people and then tell the police, hey, I was doing it to feed homeless people. You're still going to get arrested.
Intent versus impact.
Exactly. Intent versus impact.
Mine was a couple of years ago. It was this girl that I was really cool with. Like, me and her was like brothers and sister. Like, we've been knowing each other for years before this. It was one day. I mean, she'd already been trying to pick little fights at me and trying to cause me to feel like I'm a bad person. Until one day, my birthday came. I was having fun, and she wanted to pick a fight with me on my birthday. And I looked at that. I said, "Oh my God, this gonna be the last time I ever talk to her." And in her mind, she thinking me and her gonna still be cool. Nah, nah. you gotta go. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't, like, I had told her, like, this gonna be my last time talking to you ever, because for one, you tried to pick a fight with me on my birthday, and she was not trying to apologize or nothing. She was just kept on saying shit, saying shit. I'm like, okay, boop, blocked her. Like, ever since then, sometimes she be trying to check on me and like, hey, how you doing? Like, I'm doing good. Like, yeah, we need to catch up. Yeah, we doing. Yeah, yeah, we do. But seeing how she are now, she's really up there on TikTok. So she's TikTok famous. Like, I knew she was gonna get to that point way before TikTok even came, because of her personality. But it just, she got a good personality, but a messed up inside though. Like, she means well sometimes, but it's just one of them people that, like, let's say for instance, you make her mad. She'll come to me saying how much of a piece of you know what you is, and having me thinking like, dang, if I really make her mad, she'll go to Jen and say how much of a piece of you know what I am. So the people like that, y'all gotta watch out for.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, sometimes you just gotta just leave people for their own demise.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Minnie.
Um, Mine is a little more personal. I think Jen, I've told you about this, but there was an individual that I was dating at the time, and long story short, we spent quite some time together, and we were in different areas, of course. But basically, she ended up having a child while we were dating, and I basically cut everything off. And what's crazy, even more crazy, is that I just took her to, or we just went to Vegas for her birthday. So fast forward time, she had a kid, his girl, and I think it was like one or two. She decides to reach out to me and act like nothing ever happened,
Sheesh.
making it seem like, oh, uh, I had a kid and everything, but you just up and left me. You was my friend. You was the best person to ever talk to. Da, 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 da. And by this time, I had a son as well. Well, I had a child. So I have one child. He is 4 now. And the part where the accountability comes in is having the audacity, or I'm going to say it since we're past the time, having the balls to even come back and try to assume that I would want to even have anything, relationship, friendship, social media ship, if there's a such thing, anything with you as an individual after what you did. And I was honest from the very beginning. That's a dub. So now, from that point, which was some years ago, I think that was around, I don't even want to say, but it was before COVID. I want to say before COVID. That's how long it's been. And to have the audacity to even want to think about or think that you can do that, that's crazy. You take no accountability. You have no respect for yourself at all. To think that because, oh, I had a kid, you think I left you, and now I had a kid. She looks at me as the bad person because I had a child. What? You're not even taking accountability for yourself. You sitting up
I would
here.
have asked that woman, "Are you on dope?"
I mean,
Are you
there's
high?
plenty of questions I wanted to ask at that time, but I'm a different type of person when things happen like that. I say my piece and then I leave
Mm-hmm.
because there's nothing else left for me to talk about. There's
That's
nothing we
energy. It's
can
wasted
do.
energy.
We can't. Yeah, we can't go back. You can't.
Sometimes withdrawing is the best way to handle a situation.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and withdrawing from that situation, it brought back the times before she made that mistake, and it helped her to see, oh, he really was here. But guess what? I'm not anymore.
It's a little too late. Yeah.
It's too late. So you should have took accountability, regardless if you were 2 minutes from me or 200 miles from me. You should have took accountability at that very point. You know what you're doing. You're an adult. You handle your business. You should know what to do. So
Every will has its way.
that's my little synopsis on people who disappoint you and don't take accountability for what their actions or for their actions. Because nobody told you to go up there and have a child. So
He basically said, "That's all, folks."
Exactly. She pulled the Porky Pig real quick.
And got mad at you when you did the same thing, ain't it?
But I did mine
Out there.
freely.
Right.
I
Not
was
in
with
a
no one.
relationship with somebody else, not cheating.
Yeah, like that's just insane work. My bad.
My pop obviously passed away not too long ago. For all those of you who have been around. But during this time, someone had called fraud. I'm going to talk about this because this is a huge lack of accountability. I'm not saying no names. We don't have to. But so what had happened was I had let them know, like, hey, this just happened. I had just had like this big old thing, celebration of life for Pop. And then I noticed everything in my account was wiped out. The cash out that I had was on hold, all that. And what they said, I ended up messaging them and they said, not my,
Let me mute myself.
Yeah. They said, not my problem, basically. And was like, I really don't care. I'm not on there anyway. And I was like, so then, when it came to a head, they took lack of accountability. They said, well, I didn't do that. And so then when I showed them the proof that they did that, because not only on my part, I actually have receipts of everybody that it affected. And because you don't go negative gold when, it's bad converted diamonds or the app glitches. There's no glitch in that way, right? So I ended up showing them, because I emailed the app, obviously, showed them all the proof that I needed, and guess what? It was radio silence. Until one day they came back to me because I had spoken to a friend.
Big stops.
And I had spoken to a friend about it. And I'm not going to be frank about it. You did what you did. You decided to do it. You didn't care. That was your words. I don't care. Not your problem. And so then it came back to me, well, why would you talk about me and have this? Anyone who knows me knows I don't say names. I don't have lives about people. I'm not into that kind of drama. If I have a private conversation with someone who I call a friend and they decide to come back to you, or you just are making this up at this point, because nobody I know that is in my immediate circle is going to do that. But even if that was the case, then I showed them the proof back to them that you did in fact do this, and it was radio silence. They took zero accountability. So what was my perception of them? You're a piece of shit. And you
talk about me.
And to me, you're a piece of shit at that point. And what was the outcome? They're no longer in my life. They're blocked, and I don't have to see them anymore. But for me, it was really, if they had taken accountability and came to me first and like, hey, I'm having troubles, money troubles, or whatever it was, but this is going to happen. I'm going to be honest, I'm a very understanding person that life. Trust me, I have been through some stuff. So for me, it would be, if I was really your bestie or really one of your best friends or your whatever, to me, you should have came to me. Or at least held up and been like, hey, I did do this, but I'll make it right when I'm at the point where I can. I'd have taken it a little differently. But the fact that it hit when it did, that it hit right when I'm, just lost my pop, when I, kind of needed that the most, that really, it bugged me, and it looked at me like, especially for the words that you said, basically, it was like, I don't care. I don't know and I don't care. So that already told me the kind of person you were, and that was kind of the end of that. But, yeah.
That's why they still miserable.
And so I didn't have to really do anything, and that's why the whole, I don't say names, because people, they dig their own graves, and they're obviously in their own whatever. When they do things like that, or if they don't take accountability, you're obviously doing something, or something's going on with you. So I don't really have to do anything, because life is going to get you eventually anyways. Karma's a beautiful thing.
So I have a quick question into your situation. Was this someone that you were well acquainted with only, or you had a strong connection with at one point?
Very well acquainted and very strong connection with.
Oh wow, that makes it even worse.
And then didn't even show up to the life celebration of life for my pop. So I knew in that moment that it was
Something was
something,
wrong.
because the person who I knew and loved would have never missed anything like that.
Right.
Hey, nobody. Isn't it weird when and I hate when this happens because it sucks. But isn't it weird when people who act a certain way and they consistently act a certain way, and you know who they are, and you know that they're a good person, and then all of a sudden they do something that's wrong, and they know it's wrong, but they don't acknowledge it. It just hurts. It hurts because you're like, damn, you're one of those people that I really can call a friend. Like you really been a hundred. Like I don't even say 100. I say I always keep it 1,000 with Jen, no matter what. Whenever she asks me something, I always keep it 1,000. So I always tell people that, and I'm like, you could have just kept it 1,000 with me and just said what you was gonna do.
Yeah.
Like come to me and tell me. Don't do something and then do it behind my back, and then I have to go hunt and find and search for you. That makes a person even more mad, or not even mad. It makes them more emotional when they have to hunt and find out the answer when the answer has been around them the whole time.
Oh yeah, because the other person who got hit ended up going to them, right? And then they thought I said something I hadn't at that point, and they're like, "Whoever told so and so your mom's a hoe," and I'm like, "My mom."
That boy,
Woo-hoo!
I'm very sensitive when it comes to that because I don't have my mama. So
When that hit, I
Yeah,
was like, right there at
so-
that point, they were no longer my friend. At that point, it was done. It was finito. It was bashwa.
don't let me
They
catch you
was
in
on
in
some
public.
Judas.
Yeah,
They
it was.
was
It
like
was.
that's
Yeah,
one thing.
exactly.
What like I had told one of my homies is like Lord knows I love Tag to death, but it just Tag to me is just a whole bunch of Judases on here for no reason. Why? Why be
So to answer
like
your
that?
question, Slab, I don't think it's weird. I think it's human. So we, like I said, at the end of the day, we all have to understand we're instilled with values due to how we are raised, and some people are not raised with certain values, and that's how they're developed when they grow older. And it's unfortunate. You know what I mean? That's why it's a lot harder for us to take accountability when we're older because we're so distracted by everything going on around us. We're so distracted about interrelationships going on. We're so distracted about meeting new people, finding new opportunities, gaining new support, and we don't understand because we don't want to take the time to, because a lot of times we don't have time as adults. A responsibility in itself basically swamps us. You know what I mean? That's why it's our job as human beings, as good human beings, to realize what we did and how what the consequences are and how we treat people. But some people, the people, most of the time, people that don't care, they just don't have those core values.
You hit the nail on the head. You just solidified exactly what I won't even say, like you said, we don't say names, but you just solidify exactly what that person, that what their structure is as a human being. Like, and it's sad and it's hurtful at the same time because you, depending on what type of person you are, you put a lot of, I won't say you put a lot of faith and trust because that's
But
a
you
big
put
level
energy
to
into
give.
people that you
But
love.
you put energy
Right.
into people that you want to receive the same back. Like an exchange of the same energy is great. But then when you find out that that person puts out a bad energy,
And you're like,
and
oh, that's really you.
you're like, dang, like, why didn't you just show me this from the beginning? Already,
Someone
it's
that we
kind of like,
It's like the
we
end of
love,
Scooby Doo
or
when the
we're-
mask comes off, and you're like,
Right.
Yeah.
"Wow, it was you, red herring." Or what?
someone that we love, like, or respect, we construct relationships, we don't destroy.
facts.
So yeah,
We build them.
I completely get that. But
Yeah.
like I said, some people are unfortunately lost due to their way of life, their patterns of life. When someone treats me a certain way, I right away I start asking about their upbringing, and you know what? A lot of times they're not going to tell me it because they know that their upbringing and how they were raised and how they walk through life has a lot to do with the final product that they are today. That is all the ingredients of who they are today.
Yep.
I agree with that 1,000%. It's just,
It's sad.
it's so much. Like it, And I don't harbor on it. I don't sit here and be like, why did this person do this? Because I'm not that type of person. I'm more of a person. If you don't want to, be 100% or 1,000%, whatever you want to be. You don't want to just be the person that you're supposed to be, the person that you are, the person that you were raised to be. I mean, that's on you. But at the same time, like, always try to give people a benefit of the doubt
Mhm.
and try to learn who they are, what they're maybe lacking or understanding. So that way, I'm a person that likes to educate and to help. I don't like to destroy and make fun of people. Like, you joke and play. There's a time and place for that, but at the same time, you want to educate people because in this world that we live in, like, there's so much hateful people. Like, they don't want to help people at all. I'm teaching my son that as well. I just gave a homeless person like $5, and he asked me, why'd you give him money? And I said, because there's some people that go through a hard time. Like, you want to help them. You want to do
And
something
if you
for them
can't
that will
help
at
them,
least
don't
brighten
hurt
their
them.
day.
If you can't help
Yeah,
them,
don't.
don't
I
hurt
was
them.
like, and I told him, I was like, you never be a bully to anyone at school. Never. I said, because that bully can turn into something even bad, even worse. And I kind of explained it to him on a kid level, but, you know, trying to explain that and,
Right.
trying to teach him right from wrong. And because it's too many kids out here now. They call them YNs, and,
Mhm.
they just do whatever they want, how they want, when they want. They disrespectful to old people, young people, killing each other, all this stuff. And I just don't. This is not me. I wasn't raised like that. So, you know.
So, speaking of, in today's world where accountability and responsibility are crucial for personal and professional growth, it's essential to inspire others to take ownership of their actions. Emphasizing the importance of self awareness and integrity can foster a culture of trust and collaboration. By encouraging individuals to reflect on their decisions and the impacts they have in themselves and those around them, we can empower them to embrace their role in shaping their circumstances. As someone in a position of influence, the message of accountability can be a powerful catalyst for positive change and development, both personally and within the wider community, which is why tonight we are having this discussion. As someone of influence who is here on this app, I am an influencer. I'm also a mentor for many of you here on the Tagged app. I help develop small streamers to become what I am sitting here today and even larger than I am. But that is something that I do in my personal life and here on the app is help mentor people. But I also live what I tell you. I'm not going to do something that I'm not going to also do. So I lead by example. But with that being said, the last question is, as someone in a position of influence, as we all are here on this app, what would you say to encourage others to own their actions?
So I read a lot. I read a lot. And there's this author. He's also an educator, and his name is Stephen R. Covey. He makes books off of effective people, relationships, discipline, trust, inspiration, leadership, and different management of life and stuff like that. And he has this famous quote, and it basically says, hold on, I'm going to get the book because I don't know it by heart. Forgive me, I'm going to take accountability. I don't know it by heart.
You good. You read a lot, so it's expected.
Okay, so here's the book right here. Oh, okay. All right, so here's a book right here. And at the end of the book, it says accountability breeds response dash ability. So it's not just responsibility, it's the ability to respond. You know what I mean? It's the ability to explain of what someone did. So that would be my quote. And it's not by mine, it's sponsored by me, but it's by Stephen Covey. So
Okay.
accountability breeds response ability.
That's good. I like that. I like that a lot.
Mine is short and sweet and to the point. Understand what you can do and do it the best of your ability. Okay.
That's cool. Mine actually comes from a source that most people probably wouldn't find credible, but I've met this individual numerous times before he passed. So Adolph Thornton, aka Young Dolph, he used to follow this quote that he would always say since he started doing what he was doing, and basically he would say, uh, "If you ain't in control, you out of control." So my thought process, and from listening to him, what his process was for that quote: if you ain't controlling what you're doing, then everything's gonna be out of control, out of your control. So you can control the things that you can control in your life, such as taking accountability, handling your responsibilities as a human, and being accountable for what you do, always following through, being that person that you're supposed to be for your family, your friends, everything in your life. So I follow that. You know, if you ain't in control, you out of control. So I follow that heavily.
I love that, Roger. He says you're going to mess up, so instead of trying to be perfect, learn how to be accountable. Awesome.
Yeah.
So as a leader, mentor, someone who is of influence, especially here on these apps, fostering a culture of ownership among your surrounding crowd is vital for both individual growth and overall success. So encouraging others to take responsibility for their actions begins with creating an environment for trust and open communication. So a few things are: emphasize accountability. It means reminding everyone that owning their actions is a sign of strength, not weakness. When we take responsibility, we open the door for learning and improvement, which ultimately benefits the entire crowd, entire community, team, whatever it is. But also lead by example, like I was saying. Demonstrate ownership in your own decisions and actions by being transparent about your successes and your mistakes. You set a powerful precedent that encourages others to do the same. Encourage reflection. So foster a culture where encouraging others to regularly reflect on their contributions and decisions. Encourage them to ask themselves questions about what they can learn from their experiences and how can they apply those lessons to the future. And then also celebrating efforts and outcomes. That means recognizing and celebrating both successes achieved through ownership and learning experiences from setbacks. That means getting through something. Like even if you did something wrong and you came back from it and you did the right thing, then celebrate that. That reinforces the idea that taking responsibility is valuable and necessary for growth. And then lastly, provide support and resources. That means make it clear that while owning up to actions is important, it's equally important to provide the support and tools necessary. And that is actually something where earlier when they criticized me about streaming or whatever, and I'm going to just say this, and this was going to be my reply if someone ever said it again. Unless you have a plan set forth, mind your business, because first and foremost, I am a top badge. We have something that we have to make every week, right? That's 80K, correct? Am I wrong? Did they change it?
Yeah.
Okay, so 80K. If you feel as if that I need to take a break, then you should have a plan and set in and be like, hey, I could tell Jen's really tired and she needs a break. We should gather together and help her. Do you know what I'm saying? But if you had no plan, it was just opinion at that point, because you only had opinion with no plan in place, or it really just was.
Yeah,
like I said,
and you have a responsibility.
correct. So at that point, that is going to be my response. That is something I'm taking accountability for. The next time I will have a response, and it is going to be very conjured up and very written down and very but this is it. If you don't have a plan set forth, then at that point it was really just opinion. But by instilling a sense of ownership, you empower individuals to be proactive, innovative, and resilient, ultimately leading to a stronger, more cohesive environment. And so that, for me, I feel like is something that all of us need to take. Like everything that we've heard tonight, if we just take these things, and even for me, there are some things that I learned, tonight, going forward, and things that I kind of put in the back of my mind, when I'm faced with these things, because accountability isn't about just something I've done wrong, but also taking accountability for my actions, as far as, like I said, about the streaming thing. Like, okay, I'm going to take it to account, But things like that, I want to lead by example because I can't tell you guys all to do something and I'm doing the exact opposite. So I hope all of you
Right.
took something from tonight. And I do appreciate each and every one of y'all for coming through and being here on the show. I know we ran a little late because this is a great conversation. And anybody who wants to talk afterwards, you're free to get in the box. But every week we come to this place of, I guess, healing. And we do a weekly quote. So this week's quote is... Accountability is the bedrock of personal growth. It requires the courage to look within and the humility to accept our role in the tapestry of life. Only by taking ownership of our actions can we transform mistakes into stepping stones towards a more authentic self. This has been the Red Room Talk, y'all. And of course, as we always do, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys give your outros and then we'll play a little Diddy No Diddy.
My name is Nobody, unapologetically myself on and off the app. Smarter than your average tag streamer. A true leader. I do things, my way. And if, people don't like it, then they don't appreciate my authenticity. I'm a life coach first, graphic designer second, an artist, humanitarian, dancer, comedian, and much more. Make sure you guys tap into me if you need any type of advice or anything like that. Like I said, I am a life coach. I'll do the best of my ability to help you out in collaboration with my experiences. I appreciate you, Jen, for having me. Shout out to the gentlemen in the panel. I liked all your guys' perspectives. You guys have a good night. Stay blessed, less stress, love the haters, and appreciate the rest.
Yeah.
Oh, there was some idiots just came out.
Well, no, like I said, like Jen say, she's from the play Diddy, but no Diddy. My name is the real KJ, not the fake one, the real one. But you can also catch me on here sometimes. I'll be going live playing your favorite R&B, hip hop, rock, pop, any music you like. I will be playing it sometimes, but you can also follow me on my Instagram. The link is in the description below of my name. And I'm working on something big, much bigger than me. Something's gonna. I'm working on something that's gonna not gonna be a suitable for tag, but hopefully this right here will put me on TV.
I'm about to say,
Eh,
oh well.
huh? Oh no!
He
Oh,
said, oh, he's going to cut his pearls.
Heavens no!
Clutch his pearls.
Boy, if I have a oh well, boy.
We ain't gonna go down that road. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Well, that's about it. Just make sure y'all hit me with a fave if y'all can. If y'all want to, come on my live, show support. I will support back. That's it.
Yeah. I'm CJ DJ Slab God. I messed that up completely. But anyways, if you want to hit me with a follow, I'm here sometime, no time. If you do catch me, I'm usually in here. I really don't go live anymore, but you can still hit me with the fave, hit me with a follow. Come follow me on Instagram. That's about to turn up some more. We got Slab God Games, which is my fitness channel. We got Slab Pack, which is my car channel for, and I say channel, Instagram. And that's about it. But follow Jen. Make sure y'all tap in. Ooh, that was bars.
Bars.
For real.
I am Jen the
Appreciate y'all.
Juice, the host of this show right here, right now. You guys can catch us every Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm gonna try to pick some less lovely topics so we're not running over every week. But I know I appreciate the conversations. But I do appreciate each and every one of y'all. Y'all can tap in every Saturday at 10. And then I do have another show in the works with Miss Lotta Vibes. Make sure y'all hit her with a fave. And then I have some other things up my sleeve coming soon to a theater near you. So
You ain't got no sleeves on.
shh. Coming here to it. Anyway, cleavage music. So anyways, y'all, tap in every Saturday. Hit me with the fave. And now I'm going to play a little Diddy No Diddy.
What is it about to be? R. Kelly?